गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Which verse we are on? Which verse we are on?
64, Swamiji.
64. You were there last week. We have done that. 66. Just one moment, I'll check.
Okay. Thank you.
Swamiji, you started 66 and
67. We have to start from 67.
yes, 67.
Okay. We are in Amrit Anubhav, chapter number 2, Shri Guru Stavana, Glory of the Guru, OV number 67. Last week we saw an individual sleeping in a secluded place all alone wakes up himself. Thus he himself becomes both the sleeping one and the awakened one. And there we saw that the awakened one is the guru and the sleeping one is the disciple, but the knowledge of non-duality is available only to the guru, not to the disciple. And so this dvaita of the guru shishya is valid for the disciple, whereas for the guru he is playing the game but he knows what the truth is. And that what is the truth? That the self alone is expressing as the guru and shishya. So there is appearance of duality, but that duality is not able to is not affecting the Guru Maharaj, but it is a joy and a sport for the Guru to be without losing. So just like the water without losing itself appears as multiple waves, space without losing itself, without undergoing any change whatsoever, accommodates the entire coming and going of the creation exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Your senses, without getting affected, are allowing all the stimuli to come. So the forms are not affecting the eyes. The vision remains the same. The sounds are not affecting the ears. Same way with every sense. Go further. Thoughts are not disturbing the mind, affecting the mind. Mind allows the thoughts to come and go. Go one further back. the Atma is not affected, and that is your experience on a daily basis. Atma is not affected by the coming and going of the waking, dream, and sleep. And yet they come and go every day. You choose to become the waker, that's your problem. But the truth is, the self never gets disturbed, doesn't lose anything or doesn't gain anything by becoming waker, dreamer, or sleep, or the three experiences. Similarly, the Guru Maharaj, even though expressing as the Guru and Shishya, the duality is not affected by the duality. He doesn't lose the non-dual principle even though expressing as the Guru Maharaj. The example is further explained. Te ze tochi tseta tochi chevavi tevi hatsi buzhavi Guru Shishyatva Nandavi Aise Niha. In this example, the one who sleeps and the one who has awakened, the sleeping one, are one and the same. In the same way, the truth manifests as the Guru, the waker, imparting instructions, and Shishya, the sleeper, receiving instructions. So, first point is what? The one who was waking up, the sleeping person, was the one who was sleeping. We are talking about in ourselves. The one who was waking up the sleeping person was the one who was sleeping. So, you yourself are the sleeper and you yourself are the waker. What makes the sleeper to wake up? Is it some outside force? Is it some outside energy? Is it some self which is outside you which comes and says, now wake up? Or you yourself are the sleeper and you yourself are the waker? So you yourself woke yourself up from the sleep to be the waker. See? So both roles, duality is there, sleeping and waking. But who knows? Who knows? Right now you know. Few hours ago you were sleeping. Now you know you are awake. Have you become two? Or are you the same one? Nobody feels that I am different. Everybody feels I am the same person. See? Similarly, now apply this to the Guru and Shishya. Similarly, the Guru who is teaching and the disciple who is taught are the same. In this way, the Guru, the Paramatma, Tattva, is playing the game of Guru Shishya. So the Guru is waking up the Shishya who is doing the drama of sleeping. That Guru knows. Guru knows that Shishya is doing the drama of sleeping. But Shishya thinks seriously, I think I am ignorant, I think I have to do lot of sadhana to come to realize, So just as we ourselves are the sleeper and we wake ourselves up, similarly Guru himself is the Shishya and he wakes himself up, which he knows. Second point, the Guru is able to teach because of consciousness and the student is able to understand because of the same consciousness. The consciousness is not two, it is one without a second. See, this point I have made many times before, that the knowledge is possible only in consciousness. not through videos, not through audios, not through any other means. When consciousness meets consciousness, then knowledge takes place. So the thoughts of the teacher riding on the consciousness meet the ear of the student, and he listens to those words. And that listening is also possible because he is conscious. So we think we are grasping the words. Can you, Swamiji, please repeat that? It is not repetition. By words, nothing is going to happen. It is the consciousness which meets. And this consciousness in the teacher and the Shishya, they are not two. Life in me and life in you are the same. The electricity expressing here or the electricity expressing in your house is exactly the same. The phenomena of light which is expressing here in this bulb and the phenomena of light which is expressing in your bulb in your house, the light phenomena is the same. Similarly, the life phenomena is the same. And electricity or the self, it appears to be different, but it is one and the same thing. So this consciousness is not two, it is one without a second. And consciousness teaching consciousness. When the consciousness becomes unmanifest as in deep sleep, the duality of mother and son, of father and son, of religions and religious books disappears. That which supports all this duality has not undergone duality even for a fraction of a second. Just as a river breaking on the boulders flows on as one. When the river, if you go to Gangaji, river is coming, there is a big boulder in between, the water which is coming suddenly becomes two streams, and then after the rock is over, boulder is over, again it becomes one and continues. So has the river become two, or is it the same? Exactly the same way. Have we become waker, dreamer, sleeper, or we are the same one playing the role? Just as that river playing the role of two. Then again becoming one. We are also the same. Whether you take it as waking, dream, sleep, whether you take it as father, son, brother, husband. See? These things have to be contemplated. How we have hoodwinked ourselves into believing we are a personality. There is no personality. Get out of it. Get out of it. And only you can do that. I can't do that for you. No teacher can do it for you. No scripture can do it for you. They can only give guidance. They can give you direction. No, as I told in the meditation today, nobody can tell you that you are satisfied after eating food. Only you know when you are satisfied. But Swamiji, can you tell me if I am realized? Nobody can tell you. You don't go and ask, can you tell me if I am full or not? Can you tell me if I have got desire or not? Can you tell me if my mind is purified or not? Can you tell me if I am sleeping or not? Can you tell me if I am awake or not? That's stupidity. And this is exactly what we are doing. Nobody can tell you. You have to work it. But I can't, then go to sleep. Nobody can help. Then suffer. Simple as that. If we are sincere, then we will look at it, look at the import of these words. What do they signify? That when we go to sleep, the entire duality of the world, the guru, the shishya, the various roles, the studies, the scriptures, the religions, the variety of the world, the cosmos, everything vanishes, becomes unmanifest, becomes unavailable in sleep. So also it becomes unavailable when you come to abide in yourself. Because now you have taken the position, you realize that you are the self, and that self is one without a second, means it is everywhere. There is no place that it is not. Opposing the self, there is nothing. Opposing the self, there is nothing. Contrary to the self, there is nothing. There is no contradiction at all. The appearance of duality may be there, but it is not affecting the guru, the person who has come to abide in the self, the guru tattva. It is not affecting. When I asked you yesterday, you were sleeping and you became awake, when you answer yes, it has not affected you. You were one in spite of the two expressions of waking and sleeping. When you say yes. But very next moment again, but this is difficult. That's your problem then. Work it out. See? The pure consciousness I am being established in this knowledge is called the salutation to the Guru. See? So this contemplating in this manner with respect to the Guru Tattva, that is inherent, that is not separate, which is one without a second, is the true salutation, namaskar to the Guru Maharaj. We go with some insignificant, unimportant. What do we go to gurus for? Swamiji, my daughter is not getting married. Swamiji, my business is not going well. Swamiji, I am not feeling well. Swamiji, touch me on my back. Kundalini can rise. You see all these things going on in the, and many stories also when you read, you see all this. Where are we? Is our attention on the consciousness in spite of the variety that is there? Do you see the entire world as an expression of the self, as the phenomena on the self? Have we developed the vision to suss that this consciousness that I am is the substratum of the entire name and form? Have we? We can't work it out outside there in the world. But within us, that the substratum of all the thoughts is the consciousness alone. Mind is only another name given to it with respect to the thoughts. Man is the substratum of all the roles. Husband is a name only given because of the wife. So consciousness is called mind only because of thoughts. When there are no thoughts, it is called consciousness. If you don't know that there are no thoughts, when you don't know that it is consciousness, and when the thoughts are zero in the mind, then you call it sleep. When you know that it is consciousness and there are no thoughts in the mind, then it is called samadhi. See? Simple. But work towards it. Work towards it. Rather than remain in this feel-good attitude. Oh, it was so nice. I had horripulations. I felt very nice. All this is, throw it out. Or be an observer of it. Don't get carried away by all these things. That it was wonderful, or it was, oh, what it was wonderful. If the world is still appearing as separate from you, then what has happened after satsang? Nothing has happened. That this expression of duality without losing non-duality is the Leela of the Guru. This is what we saw in the Shiva Shakti Samavesh, the first chapter also. That one Paramashiva appearing, expressing as Shiva Shakti, so he is appearing as two, but he has not lost his oneness. Exactly the same way now here, Guru Tattva appearing as Guru Shishya, the duality, but he has not lost the non-dual that he is stated in the next two OVs. Darpane vina kodola apule bhetica sohala bhogita tari lila sangato he. How beautiful example. If the eyes can see themselves without a mirror, one can explain this Leela of Guru Shishya. Huh? If eyes can see themselves without a mirror, if Guru can see himself as the Guru Tattva without the mirror of Shishya, if the Guru can see Guru without the mirror of Shishya, what will it be like? If you can see yourself, if you can see your eyes, your face, without the medium of the mirror, because in the mirror there is a reflection. So husband is a reflection appearing due to wife. Guru is a reflection, Gurudam or Guru, the personality or the name Guru, is appearing because of the Shishya. Go further, go inside. This is the catch. So because of something we know who we are. Because of Shishya, I am the Guru. Because of husband, I am the wife. Because of wife, I am the husband. Because of the children, I am the mother or father. Similarly, can we continue? This is how we live. So can we say, because of the thoughts I am? See? Or I am in spite of the thoughts. This is the idea that is presented here. If the eyes can see themselves without the help of the mirror, it will be possible to explain and understand this wonderful Leela of Guru Shishya that is manifesting in this world since the time unknown. In this relationship, although duality is manifested, it is not meant. Now apply, be subjective. In spite of the multiplicity of thoughts appearing in the mind, nothing has happened to you. You are still the same. in spite of waking, dream, and sleep coming and going every day, nothing has happened to you. Nobody feels that I have become absent. Body has come and gone. Child, child body, teenage body, youth body, adult body. But you don't feel you have changed. Whenever you say change, you say my body has changed. Means body is, you are associating yourself with the body. My mind, emotions are changing. See? And this phenomena is continuing. There is no end to it. You can't run away from this phenomena. So here it is told that that when you look at it, look at the phenomena and play the role in the phenomena without losing the original. So if you play the role of husband, wife, etc., without losing being the man or the woman, then Leela begins. But if you become the husband, then the challenge starts. Then compromises begin. Then disturbance happens. Then responsibility begins. But these roles are existing in their own absence. There is nothing called a husband. There is no entity called an husband. It is always the man. See? So, which means all the miseries and joys that you are experiencing as a husband were imaginary. Yes, they were imaginary. See? So don't get too carried away by these. A similar Upanishadic thought says, if one is able to roll up space like a piece of cloth, one will be able to have a vision of the truth. This means that the truth cannot be known as an object. So what is this roll up space like a piece of cloth? Remove the veil. It's like when the sun rises, the darkness rolls itself away. See? Our mistake is that we are seeking the truth objectively. We are seeking the truth as an idea. We are seeking the truth as a concept. We are seeking the truth like we are seeking food, desiring food. And we feel that unless I don't put the food into my mouth, how will I become one with the food? So if I have to know the truth, I have to go and catch the truth and then I will become one with the truth. It is not like that. Because we are the truth already. Food, we are not. So we are trying to use the same rule of engagement with regards to the world when it comes to the subjective self. So by thought, we are given the word to the self. It is a thought in our mind and we want to experience it now. We want to become one with it. And that is not possible because you are already that which you are seeking. You are already that which you are thinking about. And it has to click one day, that's all. And when it clicks, you will not ask any questions. Okay, has it clicked for me? You will know it. Nobody can confirm it for you. But yes, The scriptures say all the things. For whom are the scriptures telling these are the symptoms? To the stupid one, to the ignorant one. They are not telling the wise one. The scriptures not telling the symptoms to the wise one. Because when the wise one knows, he knows. When Ramana Maharishi came to know, he knew. He had not read any scripture. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa came to know, he knew. He did not read any scripture. Nisargadatta Maharaj came to know, he knew. He didn't go and ask someone. Whoever told him Tattvamasi, he didn't go back. Oh, now I have realized, can you please confirm? Yes, sir. Excellent. You get 100 marks. This is our education system trains us in this manner. But on this journey, there is as regards the self, there is no confirmation, there is no no award. Nobody is going to say tick. See? These thoughts need to be, taken deep within. एवं द्वैतासी उमसो नेदुनी एक्यासी ऐक्यासी विसकुसो सोईरिकयचा अतिसो ओखितसे. However, the Guru, without allowing the duality to establish and without leaving non-duality, promotes the loving relationship with Shishya. So what is the interaction of the Guru Maharaj? Now we are talking about the teacher. Without losing non-duality within himself, that he is the non-dual, that this game of Guru Shishya is going on, with respect to the Shishya, what does he do? Without allowing duality to establish itself. Neither in himself nor in the Shishya. And without leaving non-duality, and without leaving non-duality, promotes the loving relationship with Shishya. That's why satsangs continue. Otherwise, one satsang is enough. That's why thinking continues. That's why waking dream and sleep continues. See? In this way, without allowing the duality to be established and without compromising the non-dual, this relationship in this way, without allowing the duality to be established and without compromising the non-dual, this relationship of Guru Shishya is maintained, promoted and enjoyed as an eternal Leela. Then where did this Leela begin from? It began from the Paramashiva. He appeared as the Shiva and Shakti. And he alone is doing the Leela as Brahma and Saraswati. He is alone doing the Leela as Vishnu and Lakshmi, Shiva and Parvati. He is alone doing the Leela as the infinite and the finite. He is alone doing the Leela of manifestation and unmanifestation. The entire world of duality is only a Leela. We have taken it seriously when we get disturbed by the other. Why we get disturbed? Because we are not including the other in the definition of I. And nobody can make it happen for you. You have to make it happen. Just like you have made your child, you accept your child in the definition of your I, in the definition of I. It is the extension of the mother. It is an unspoken bond. Exactly the same way. This Leela of Guru Shishya continues without the adulteration of the non-dual principle as regards the Guru Maharaj is concerned. So whether you take it as a teacher or you take it as the Guru Tattva, the Atma Tattva, the non-dual reality, so if water is expressing as waves without becoming dual, without losing the non-dual aspect which is called water, then consciousness is also expressing as thoughts, thought waves, without losing the non-dual consciousness. This is our disposition at this moment. Because mind is nothing but consciousness. And where are the thoughts appearing? In the consciousness. What is the ingredient which has gone into making the thought waves? Consciousness alone. How many thought waves are there? Multiple. See? So space has allowed everything to express within its womb without losing its oneness. Vision is allowing or illuminating the forms without losing the vision. Mind is allowing the thoughts to appear without losing the mind. Then who is this disturbed person? Who is the miserable one? It's not the mind. Mind is allowing the thoughts to come and go. Then who is the disturbed person? We say he is the individual. But individual also does not exist. Find out where the individual is. If they are so convinced that it is the individual jiva, find out where the jiva is. The moment you begin the inquiry, the jiva will vanish. In its place only the self will remain, reveal. So there is no data at this given moment which can validate individuality, which can validate the misery, validate sukha dukkha. If you think in these lines, you'll come back to be who you are. And who are you? What is water? Which accepts every wave, rejects no wave, but retains no wave. Then who are you? The Guru Tattva or the Atma Tattva, which accepts all duality, multiplicity, rejects no duality, but retains no duality. Because attention is always on the one without a second. Because that is your natural disposition. See, how wonderful. Guru Maharaj is the acme of love for the Shishya. Great is he indeed. And therefore the Guru, the teacher, he is always addressing the person. He is not addressing the question. He is addressing the question. He is addressing the person. He is addressing the conscious principle within. See? Marriages will happen or not happen. Children will be born or not born. Business will be successful or not successful. Day will come and turn into night. Night will come and turn into day. These things go on. Similarly, thoughts will come and go. Questions will also come and go. If we start addressing every question, you will also go crazy and we will also go crazy. The teacher also goes crazy. Our thinking must be such that it comes to it's that thinking helps us to recognize, to discover, to realize that which I already am. Always. If that is not happening, then we are going wrong in our approach. Then we are going wrong in our approach. And that does not mean that you cannot interact with your wife, you cannot interact with your children, you cannot eat food and you cannot speak to others. No, duality, the phenomena will continue. But where is your attention? Is your attention on the phenomena or is your attention on the substratum that I am? I alone am appearing as the whole phenomena is appearing on me. I am pervading the whole phenomena. From the sun's point, great is he indeed. Without the Guru Maharaj, without the Guru Tattva, nothing is possible. No Leela is possible. No duality is possible. Multiplicity is not possible. Guru Shishya is not possible without the Guru Tattva. Many people keep asking, Swamiji, do we need a Guru in order to realize? What would you say now? If you understand Guru is the Tattva, the principle, then you cannot escape from it. Yes, you need it. But if you think Guru is a person, he is an individual, then he may be there, he may not be there. Think. From the sun's point of view, light is not other than itself. From the point of camphor, the fragrance is not other than the camphor. From the point of the Guru, the disciple is not other than himself. It is only the vision of Advaita, of Ekatva, a vision that is never denied, So this vision of oneness, the vision of inclusivity is only this, is the vision of Advaita, of Vedanta. Vedanta is not a philosophy. Vedanta is not or Advaita philosophy. We use the word Advaita philosophy, but it's not a philosophy. It is not a process of learning. It is your natural state. It is your natural state. Vedanta is where all learning ends, meaning all thoughts end. That is Vedanta. In fact, Vedanta is that which is in spite of the thoughts, because it is the only thing that there is. And that is the Guru Tattva, that is the Atma Tattva, that is the Paramashiva, that is Narayana. Get out of this teeny mini box of I which we have put in place with various associations which are limited. Get out of it. Break the limitations. And the only way you can break it is by thinking of that which is beyond the limitations. And that is the Guru Tattva. Now this Guru Maharaj is glorified in his own name. Nirvritti Jaya Nava, Nivritti Jaya Varava, Jaya Nivritti Chi Raniva, Nivritti Chi. Sri Sadguru, known by the name Nivritti, has withdrawal as his glory and non-involvement as his kingdom. Jnaneshwar Maharaj's elder brother's name was Nivrittinath. And he is his guru, he is his teacher. And once when his father, mother and the four kids had gone for a pilgrimage to Triambakeshwar, at that time there was a great roar in the jungle and all of them went hither thither, and for few months this boy was lost, and he eventually found himself exhausted in a cave. And there he met his master, I can't remember the name of the master. And then he was instructed, now you go and give this knowledge to Jnanadev Maharaj. So for Jnaneshwar Maharaj, who is writing his experience of realization, his guru is Nivrittinath. Nivritti means, remember, life is of two. The flux in life is involvement in the world and withdrawal from the world. Waking and dream are the involvement in the world. Deep sleep is withdrawal. And this is a phenomena which is going on. You cannot stop that. So who is Nivrittinath? He who is an embodiment of withdrawal. He never gave any lecture. He never gave one single lecture. Nivrittinath. He always made Jnaneshwar Maharaj he gave the entire commentary, Bhavartha Deepika, Jnaneshwari, based on Bhagavad Gita. Jnaneshwar Maharaj did. That's why it's called Jnaneshwari. It's not called Nivritteshwari because he praises his guru everywhere, but it is still called Jnaneshwari. This Amrit Anubhav, Nivrittinath, why didn't he write his experience of realization? No. He is uninvolved. He is not concerned only. He made Jnaneshwar Maharaj write the experience of realization. So he says, this OV reflects a deep principle which was explained in the first chapter on Shiva Shakti Samavesha. There it was explained that the absolute, the Sad Vastu, pure existence, which has all the vibrant potentiality imaginable, is called Shiva or Chit, and when it is referred to with reference to potentiality, the potentiality itself is called Shakti or Ananda. So that Parama Shiva is called Parama Shiva. But when he invokes his potentiality, is the potentiality separate to Shiva? No. Is the light separate to the sun? Is the sun illuminating the world, or is his glory illuminating the world? What is the vibhuti of the sun? Vibhuti of the sun, the glory of the sun is the sunlight which reaches you. Sun doesn't reach you. You don't wear gold around your neck. You wear the vibhuti of the gold, the glory of the gold, called necklace. You don't drink water in mud. You drink water in a mud pot, which is the glory, the vibhuti of the mud. So the potential of mud to become the mud pot is always inherent in the mud. The potential of gold, of the ornament within the gold, is always, sometimes it is manifest, sometimes it is unmanifest. See, the potential of all the waves is always inherent within the water. Sometimes they manifest, sometimes they don't manifest. The potential of waker, dreamer, sleeper and the respective worlds is always there in the self. Sometimes the waking comes, sometimes it doesn't come, sometimes the dream comes, sometimes then it goes away. So are the thoughts separate from the mind? Are the waves separate from the water? No. They are potential expressions of water. When that potentiality is invoked, then it is called ocean, and then the waves in the ocean. When the thought waves are invoked or they come about, then that same consciousness is now called by another name called mind. When the husband is invoked out of the man, see, the potential of being the husband was always there. But are we getting disturbed by it? Have we become separate from that potential? So that Paramashiva, when he invoked his potentiality, with respect to the potentiality, he is called Shiva. But are Shiva and Shakti, because we are using two names, have they become separate? Because we are using the two names, sun and sunlight, have they become two? Because we are using two names, the gold and the ornament, have they become two? Go on with the examples. Then apply it on yourself. That because we are using the word mind and the thoughts in the mind, have they become two? So here it is told that the potentiality itself is called Shakti or Ananda. This potentiality to how you are experiencing your world as a struggle. Mahatma lives in the same world, and how does he interact with the world? In Ananda, as Ananda. It's a Leela. Leela is always blissful. In the Leela there is Navaras. Veer Ras, Shringar Ras, Madhurya Ras. So many different rasas are there. Our music also has these Navarasas. The same light is appearing as the seven colors. See? Without losing itself, it is appearing as seven. But we get lost, we get attached, we get identified, rather than seeing that this entire expanse is nothing is not other than the self. It is the glory of the self. This will only come when you change your position. We have repeated this many times. And that is, we think the world was there before we were born. Get out of this conclusion in your life. The world began the moment we came, our mind came into existence. We came into existence. That very moment the mind began, the world began. It is your glory. How is it appearing? How is this glory appearing? Just like the sun is appearing as heat and light, similarly the glory of the self is name and form. Name is inside, form is outside. If you don't get attached, you will enjoy it. If you become attached, identified, then I am only this form, and misery begins. What is the misery? Birth, growth, disease, decay and death. If you get identified, then what is the misery? Becoming a husband. Becoming is the misery. Becoming anything is misery. Then becoming waker is also misery. Becoming dreamer also is misery. Becoming sleeper also is misery. That is why you come out of them. That is why these three roles, these three, waker, dreamer, sleeper, they only last for some time, not permanently. Because you're tired of it. Enough of waking. I'm exhausted. Self never gets exhausted. It has been supporting the appearance of waking, dream and deep sleep from the moment you were born. We came into existence. This body came into existence. From that time, the consciousness has never got tired. नहीं यार बहुत हो गया, अभी खत्म करते हैं. That thought doesn't come. देखो, the potentiality itself is called Shakti or Ananda. The world is the manifestation of Chit and Ananda. World is the manifestation of Chit and Ananda. The world is not a manifestation of desire. The world is the manifestation of bliss. Wave appearing on the river are born out of desire to reach the ocean. The waves appearing on the ocean are appearing due to the inherent blissful potential within the ocean. Ocean doesn't have to reach anywhere. Then why are the waves coming? Because that is its nature. Because it is full. Because it is complete. Because it has the potential to express as the waves. Do you feel that way? That all thought waves that are coming, all the roles that you are playing, they are coming out of the fullness of being? Or it is coming out of, अरे यार बहुत हो गया, चलो, now let me go back to being the man. Let me go to sleep now, बहुत हो गया, I'm tired of being the waker. Too many responsibilities as a waker. Deep sleep, no responsibility. No responsibility of the body also. No pain, no physical pain, no mental pain, no responsibilities. Nothing. It's a very free state. You only created the worries by identification. You are only running away from the worries by going into another state. But who are you? But you're missing the point. We're missing the click. That we are. This is our glory. Take that position. Thus, that which is Sat is itself Chit, and because of the potentiality called Ananda, and the Chit and the Ananda together manifest as the conscious, as the total glory. Existence is always. Existence doesn't come and go. All the objects are, laptop is, phone is, day is, sun is, planets are, galaxy is, universe is, waking, dream and sleep is, everything is. Without isness nothing nothing can exist only. So isness is the substratum. See? But when the potentiality expresses, it expresses first as Chit. What is this Chit? I am. I was always, but now I know I am. This happens to you every morning when you wake up. And then we continue to remain in the bed. Why? Oh, I have to give lecture now. I can't. Why can't I sleep for a bit longer? So lecture becomes a source of misery, and we don't want to interact with the misery, so we want to remain in the bed in an ignorant state. We don't want to interact with the work that is required to be done, because we have given it a connotation. Oh, again I have to go to work, again I have to earn money, again I have to do this, again I have to do that. And we invite miseries by thinking like this. Why don't you get up in the morning? Okay, how the day is going to unfold? With inspiration, with joy. Jump into the life. Then whatever the world is throwing at you, deal with it joyfully, knowing that whatever is coming to you is also consciousness. Brahma arpanam brahmavi, brahmagnav brahmanahutam, brahmaiva tena gantavyam, brahma karma samadhina. What is coming is also Brahman. The one who is interacting with what is coming is also Brahman. Brahman experiencing Brahman. See? So that choice, that disposition is always like that. The entire world at any given moment is an expression of Chit and Ananda only. In the consciousness alone, the bliss is. In fact, what was existence? Existence is a foregone conclusion. Without existence, consciousness cannot be. And what is consciousness? I know I am. When I know I am, not objectively but subjectively, as I am, that very moment, the expression of bliss. And what is that bliss? If you go and see a movie, nobody has paid you, but you go and enjoyed the movie, you go and share it with everyone. Hey, you must see that movie, you must see that movie. You must listen to that music, you must listen to that bhajan, you must listen to that lecture. You must go and see that flower show. It was so wonderful, wow. You're not getting anything in return. You don't want anything in return. but because you enjoyed it so much, it's automatic within you to share it with others. It's an expression of bliss. Is our life an expression of bliss? Are our actions, interactions, thoughts, emotions, roles that we are playing, do we see all this as an expression of bliss? Or do we take it as, oh my God, again I have to get up, like all small kids, again I have to go to school, no, mommy, 5 minutes more, I want to sleep. Again I have to drink milk, no, 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 enough, I cannot drink only half. See? So this entire world of multiplicity, which is not other than the Guru Tattva, which is not other than the self, it is the glory of the self alone. But are we seeing it as that? Or are we seeing it as an objective experience, and having taken it as an objective experience, therefore suffer due to the objective? As long as we keep the world separate from us, we will suffer. Because that's the nature of anything. Wherever there is duality, sometimes it will be there, sometimes it will not be there. Against this background, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, some have unmatching names which are not justified. See, just like because of sun, heat and light, does the sun suffer? No. Again I am bringing it back. Because of day and night, does the sun suffer? No. Because of heat and light, which is his potentiality, does the sun suffer? No. Does the Atma suffer because of waking dream and deep sleep? No. Does the mind suffer because of the thoughts? No. Do the senses suffer because of the stimuli? No. Then where is this suffering? Enquire. Enquire. बेवकूफ बन के घूम रहे हैं इस दुनिया में. Even if you seek, you will not find suffering in this world. Because it is not possible. Because this whole entire world is an expression of bliss. It is not an expression of misery. There is not someone sitting there sprinkling misery. Acha, he did not come to temple this Saturday. Okay, चलो थोड़ा misery भेजते हैं इसको. He did not light the lamp this morning. चलो, another dose of misery. He did not understand. He was not listening attentively to the satsang. Another dose of misery. He did not speak properly. Another dose of misery. There is no one sitting there, yaar. देखो, we are trapped in our own mind, in our own thoughts, and just we. What is this we? It is like the life is moving, accelerator is on, but one foot is on the brake also. Everything is charged up, but गाड़ी कहीं पहुंच ही नहीं रही. Because we are still the father, we are still the mother, we have taken all the roles, we are still the body. We have taken these roles so seriously that life is moving, foot is on the accelerator. But we are stuck in identification, brake. फिर क्या निकलता है उसमें? Only धुआं, only smoke. That smoke is all this misery. That smoke is this confusion. See? think little bit of calm mind. Allow these thoughts to wash your mind and reform the mind once and for all. Again and again we don't need to. Only once we need to, it needs to click. Only once. For that we need sincerity. We need alertness. We need faith. As a seeker, some have unmatching names which are not justified by their circumstances or character. Such is not the case with my Guru, who is called Nivritti. Now he is talking about his teacher, Guru Maharaj. See how he unfolds it. It is not a mere name in his case. See, he is not taking him to be only the body. He is going after the name, the principle. It is not a mere name in his case, because his glory is his total withdrawal, Nivritti. His glory is his total withdrawal. So understand, what did we say life is about? It's a continuous flux of involvement and withdrawal, involvement and withdrawal, involvement and withdrawal. Nivrittinath was the withdrawal, Jnaneshwar Maharaj was involvement. He made him involved, he made him give lectures, he made him do everything. See? And when we get involved in the world with the background of withdrawal, it is a healthy one. When we get involved in the world with attachment, with identification, with some purpose, with some ambition, with some axe to grind, something to achieve, then we lose the plot. Then we lose the plot of life. Then how we must involve? Inner withdrawal, and the involvement is only as if. Why that is happening? It's a phenomena. The teacher said, give lecture. He gave lecture. But inside, his withdrawal. That's why continuous salutations to the Guru Maharaj, the Nivritti. Again and again he comes. The whole chapter he is giving here for him. In Jnaneshwari also, so many times, before every chapter, at the end of every chapter, glory to the Nivrittinath, glory to my Guru. Because from the basis of withdrawal, the involvement is happening. We are not losing ourselves in the involvement of the world. We are recognizing. त्यागे नैके अमृतत्व मानसु न कर्मणा न प्रजया धने न त्यागे नैके अमृतत्व मानसु. Tyag is this withdrawal, nivritti. Na karmana, not by karma. Karma, activity, action. Activity owned is called action. Na karmana, na prajaya, nor by progeny, not by children. Na dhanena, not by wealth. Physical wealth or spiritual wealth. Siddhis. Seeing gods in dreams and meditation. Not by all that. त्यागे नैके अमृतत्व मानसु. Only by withdrawal, only by giving up, only by dispassion, only by detachment, only by non-ownership is immortality possible. From that basis, you involve in the world, let the involvement happen. Because it's a phenomena. whether you like it or not, every morning you will wake up. And whether you like it or not, every night you will go to sleep. You will withdraw. But those are happening involuntarily. We are talking about conscious withdrawal. And we are talking about involvement with awareness that no, there is a disinterested, you can say this way, there is a disinterested involvement in the world. There is an indifference toward the world. But because अब भूख लगी है तो कुछ खाना है, ब्रेड है खाने के लिए, चलो चलेगा. नहीं, हमेशा yesterday also bread, today also bread, tomorrow also bread, only bread. Don't you have anything else to eat? Desire. Eat whatever comes. See? So don't divide the world into likes and dislikes. Accept everything that is coming. Reject nothing. But retain also nothing. This retain also nothing will only happen when this sense of withdrawal, the dispassion, indifference, that is the basis. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says that his glory is his total withdrawal, nivritti, in spite of the fact that he is the substratum of the total world of names and forms. So where do names and forms, what is total withdrawal? Look at it at an individual level. What is your withdrawal? Waking and dream is involvement. Deep sleep is withdrawal, isn't it? From the names and forms. Or do you get any names and forms in sleep also? Then you are the unique one. So deep sleep is the state of withdrawal. Waking and dream are the state of involvement. And which one is he? He says he is the substratum of the total world of names and forms. He is the cause of all manifestation. Deep sleep is the cause of all the manifestations in the waking and the dream. All the names and forms which are appearing in the waking and the dream are inherent within the cause. Are inherent within the cause. See? All the waves are inherent within the ocean. All the ornaments are inherent within the gold. All the thoughts are inherent within the mind or the consciousness. See? Appearance of an ornament does not make gold become less, and melting of the ornament does not make the gold become more. Gold remains gold. So appearance, involvement in the world does not reduce the kingdom of the self, which is of the nature of withdrawal. It is not attached to anything. Gold is not attached to any ornament. Water is not attached to any wave. Existence associated with the fear of loss is not a glorious existence. And this is how an individual is living daily, in and out, always afraid of losing life, losing health, losing the beloved ones, losing whatever we have accumulated. So, existence associated with the fear of loss is not a glorious existence. It will continue to buffet us, it will continue to trouble us, whatever, because we have established our identity on the basis of the possessions, on the basis of identifications, on the basis of relations. And when any of these associations or relations are, it's a matter of time when they will be taken away, but they will be taken away, and they are taken away every night when you go to sleep. You don't get troubled at that time. But when in the waking, because of certain circumstances, they are taken away, you complain. You don't complain when you go to sleep. But in the waking, if someone takes away, then you complain. It invokes a response because you are identified with it. So that we are not troubled by the world quickly. It doesn't take much time to come back to the base that you are. Come back to your natural state, the eternal consciousness, the infinite consciousness, the Guru Tattva. So here he says, existence associated with the fear of loss is not glorious existence, but the Guru Maharaj has no fear that the world would disappear if he withdraws from it, because he has come to see what? That the withdrawal and the involvement is a phenomena. That is the nature, that is his glory. Do you see appearance and disappearance of husband, role of husband as a glory? Do you see the appearance of thoughts and disappearance of thoughts as your glory? Do you see the waking, dream and deep sleep coming and going as your glory? If not, therefore suffering. Therefore you take it too seriously. But Guru Maharaj, he has got no fear of loss. If naturally there is withdrawal coming with regards to the world, no, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. There is nothing lost. What will happen to my family once I go away? I'm sick, I'm going to die. Who will take care of my children? Who will take care of their education? Who will get them married? Who will get blah 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 blah. There is no end to this. This is fear. It's not emotion. Is it not right for a mother or father to think in this manner? No. You can say that to your children as your Leela, but don't become too serious about that Leela. Don't identify with that Leela, because children must hear those words. But if you become serious, that oh my God, what will happen to them, and seriously, if I'm not there, they cannot handle themselves, then you have lost the plot. So Guru Maharaj has no fear that the world would disappear if he withdraws from it. He can manifest as the plurality as well as absorb the total plurality at his own free will and in total independence. And this is what is meditation. Right now you have made a choice to come to the satsang, and whatever is going in this world, who cares? You are in this satsang at this moment. When you withdraw from the world, it is called sleep. Yes, you are in ignorance, but if you consciously go to sleep, you are in meditation. At that time, is whatever is going on in the world, are you available? No. Are you available to the world and whatever is going on in this world when you are sleeping? No. When you bring about that condition or come back to your original self, nothing matters. Whether there is involvement or there is withdrawal, nothing matters. We take it as our, having come to the self alone, we can take it as the glory. Having come to the self alone, we come to this disposition that it is the glory of the self. What? The withdrawal and the involvement. He can manifest as the plurality as well as absorb the total plurality at his own free will and in total independence. He doesn't need someone to prompt him to go into meditation. He does not need any word, any verse, any Gita, any Upanishad in order to establish the self. He doesn't need a person to tell him, you are the self, you are the self, you are the self. No, everyone is already the self. This whole phenomena, this whole world is nothing but the self alone. We have to just develop that vision. It will come about only when we come back to being the original one. And you have to discover it because you are already that. So what is the disturb? Why I am not able to discover it at this moment? Because I am taking the world too seriously. Then how do I not take it seriously? See it as your glory. How many more examples can Jnaneshwar Maharaj give here? He's giving one after the other, he's keeping giving because that is his contemplation going on. And because of him, we are having this beautiful contemplation. So at any given moment, he is always with himself. He doesn't need to be prompted to come back to the self. We need satsang to come back to the self. But we have to come to a point, satsang or no satsang. Involvement in the satsang, withdrawal from the satsang. We are always the self. Not only in the satsang we are the self. This withdrawal, nivritti, from the world of names and forms is his glory. In destruction, samhara, there is no ugliness. So there is no greatness in appearance of names and forms, and there is no ugliness in the destruction of names and forms. Oh my God, that person has passed away. Oh, it will be such a big loss. This, that, and emotional drama, this, that. Get out of all that. As regards yourself, as regards the world, yes, do express, do the role what is required to be done. But inside you must be very clear. Don't have the fear of some people. I keep saying this, some people as they get old they start losing memory. So naturally the divine is taking care that your unwanted thoughts should go out of the mind, and we go to the doctor, take medicine so that we can restart the engine of thinking. Arey bekoof hai kya? Let the world, nature take care of you. You be free. Quickly, we'll stop here. We can continue next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम. हरि ओम.
Swamiji.